Welcome to the Sunday Live Show. Welcome to the stream. Welcome to the stream. Before we even get started, make sure you guys like this, subscribe. Right? We got some good stuff to look at today. More importantly, we got FOMC this week. FOMC, Powell talking. We got some interesting things popping off this week, okay? Can the market give a short-term pullback? We got some interesting things. Some very interesting things. But more importantly, what are some good stocks that we can get into right now and make some money into the 3, 4, 4, 5 months out? 2, 3, 4, 5 months out. All right. That's what I think is the most important. But let's try to get the stream to 3K likes, and then we'll really get started. We'll go over the Nasdaq, we'll go over the dollar, we'll go over the S&P 500. There is an AI event this week as well, which if buy the rumor, sell the news is anything, that's something that's usually be paying attention to during that time. But it's a very eventful week regardless. I mean, we have FOMC, we got the AI event. There's a lot of stuff happening, but it doesn't matter what happens. It doesn't matter what happens. Whether we go down, whether we continue to go up, the overall market will continue to push higher, in my opinion, just based off a few things I'm going to share with you guys. But, is that there's obviously going to be short-term pullbacks, but that's not even the game that I like to play, right? A lot of people, you'll get these 3, 4, 5 months out contracts and you'll become impatient. If you want to be a day trader, just stick to day trade. Don't try to swing nothing. Right? But once we get the 3K likes, we'll get started. My boy Nim in here. Twax, Nvidia going to 1,000. God. Tesla looks so good right now. Bitcoin looks good. There's a lot of stuff that looks good, obviously. A lot of stuff. Our job is to find the best opportunities. That's true. I fall in the habit of trying to do both. Not the greatest idea. Hey, yeah. If you're not patient, if you're not patient, if you're scared of these 50%, 40% swings, then hey, don't mess with swing trading. Just stick to day trades. PG, Holo, BX. We'll look at all those, all right? We'll look at all of them. But first, let's take a look at the Nasdaq. You have to know what the Nasdaq's doing in order for you to know what the market is going to do, right? And on the weekly, we have, first of all, if you go back to the Qs, it reached the measure move that we've been talking about for quite some time. We had the measure move drawn up. We told you it was going to get to 445. It got to 445, and now you're seeing a little bit of a reject, which is very interesting in my opinion. Okay, you have weekly divergence popping off, which is bearish. I wouldn't even be too surprised if we see some sort of maybe short term reversal, down a little bit. That's something you always got to keep in mind, because you are getting that weekly bear divergence as this continues to go up. Okay, so that's just something you got to keep in mind. Now we know the market's going to continue to go up, and obviously we're just going to get better entries, and obviously this week is FOMC anyway, so does TA really matter as much? We'll have to see. But also, if you look at the daily time frame, what you're seeing is what usually happens when we break below that 21 EMA on the daily time frame. You usually get these bounces, like you saw right here, even right here, even sort of like right over here as well. You're getting that as well. Now, this week I think is very important, because we could finally get that, that better correction that a lot of people have been waiting for. Okay, now I want to draw the fibs, and the TA, if you missed, I'm not coming into this week, I'm gonna just tell you my game, but I'm not coming into this week looking to get puts if I missed this entire downfall from 447 all the way to 333. That's a $14 move that you've missed, and now it's sitting inside of a buying area. Okay, so coming into this week, I'm gonna see what we do below 432. I think that's an area that'll take it out the buying area, and that'll be, maybe we'll push to 428, etc. Okay, so there's a few down levels that I am paying attention to. With FOMC, you got to be careful regardless. And, I think they do release rate. Like, I think there is going to be some rate cuts, and maybe the rate cuts turns the market bullish for a little bit, and then we get the real correction because so many people have turned bullish from that news that we got, right? Or vice versa. Those are two things you want to pay attention to. But we are in a buying area on the Q, so I wouldn't. This is if you miss this entire short from 447 all the way to here, at least wait for a little bounce to the upside or something for you to then get into puts again. Okay, right here you're shorting at the bottom, so wait for it to close below 432 on the Qs. That's what I'll be paying attention to. And obviously, you guys know we have a lot more room to continue our move up to, I think we get to around 515. Okay, nothing has changed in the bigger picture. Now I know this kind of looks sloppy, but just know that I have something that looks like this on the Qs. Okay, so you guys know we're in a monster bull market, a monster bull market. Okay, and I have projections, depending on how fast the market does continue to go up, we could go to 515. Okay, so that's the main thing I'm paying attention to. It's often not about being right with the timing. Like, we could top out in June or July. It's more so about, which way the market is going up in the bigger picture. Okay, that's the main thing you need to focus on. The market's going up in the big picture. Now, is it going up next week? Look, man, I don't know. But based off a few TA things that we're seeing, we see it in the buying area. We see some levels of support. We have FOMC. We have the AI meeting, etc. Okay, so those are the few things that we need to pay attention to. Next that I'm paying attention to is the dollar. You see the dollar now getting a slight, what the dollar does. You get a dump, you get a little retracements, etc. So the dollar is getting a nice little retracement. That could potentially be the reason we do see the Qs getting a slight little retracement as well, or correction. So we could see the dollar topping out at 104, but make no mistake, I do think this goes a lot lower. And you guys know we've been talking about the February, and when the dollar starts getting actually very bearish, when the dollar actually starts going down, that's when you see the big moves in small caps, and that's when you see these huge type of moves. Now, when will the dollar start actually falling and giving you what it gave you back in July? And some of you guys remember that, or giving you what it gave you back in December, like late December around Christmas. A lot of you guys remember that. Will the dollar get that? I think absolutely. You just got to be patient enough to wait for it. I have a rejection all the way up to 104, and once it gets below 100, you'll really start seeing the market and small caps in general start flying. So that's what I'm going to be paying attention to. I think the market goes a lot higher. We know Bitcoin, like, come on now. We've been talking about Bitcoin for quite some time. We anticipate Bitcoin to get above 100K. And that's something that we've been talking about since it was 25K, 30K, 40K. We came on here every single day and told you what was going to happen, and specifically MSTR. We don't even need to talk about this. So much money is being made on MSTR. That dang, nothing. Enough said. But anyways, put in the comments what stocks you guys want to look at. We'll look at a few stocks. I don't plan on keeping you guys up too long tonight. As we get into these big news events like FOMC week and FOMC week and AI event, there's a lot of news that's happening in the market. So don't want to keep you guys up too late. Why? Because FOMC is going to dictate what happens with the market. And to be honest, I kind of hope we get some sort of, I don't really care what happens. Like, if we go up, cool, I got the positions that, I'm positioned for that. But if we go down, like, that's even, more better, because then we get some better positions and better equity buys and some better longer term positions. So whichever one happens, I'm happy with. We looked at the TA, and y'all talking about Jesus coin. That's crazy. All right, so we got a lot of people asking about Riot and Tesla. So those are going to be the first two that we look at. I seen 3 different people say Riot, 3 different people say Tesla. So those are the few that we're going to be looking at. So Tesla, as you guys know, has been, it's been falling. It's been falling, but I'm going to tell you right now, there's no way I'm going to be bearish on Tesla right here. Now, could you have missed, all this? Like there's really no reason to be bearish on Tesla if you missed it from 205 all the way to 160. You missed it. You missed the short move. That's a $40 short move that you could have had. Now, if you're looking to short it right here, you're getting into the risky territory, okay? You're getting into the, this could really actually squeeze you out first and then finally start going down. So if you're looking to short Tesla, that's what you want to pay attention to when you're looking at this. Like at this level, you're not getting, this is more likely to squeeze you out than anything. But the reason I actually like this for calls more than puts is because we're in a bull market, first of all. And Tesla actually has came down. Nothing has changed from where I have it from right here. I still think this bull flag is still valid. I think it's still at the bottom of the trend line like you see here. But this is also sitting in a huge support right here. So if just like the Qs, like if you missed the short for the Qs from 447 to 333, you missed that move. So why are you looking to short it? Like at least wait for some sort of bounce to the upside and then get into something. The same thing could be said for Tesla, to where you missed the larger part of this move, to where the smart people were shorting, up here and, even shorted last week. And, now, like, what's the point of shorting right here when it's now come into a buying area that actually, if you look at it, this is dated back in April. This is where Tesla bounced from 157 all the way to 300 in a span of, from April all the way into July. That's what, 3 months? It took 2-3 months. So that's something you want to be paying attention to. I actually like Tesla calls coming into this week, especially when we see the bull divergence that we're seeing on a daily time frame. There's a lot of more bullish stuff happening than bearish stuff. But you have the daily divergence that you're seeing right here, and you're getting more bearish sentiment for Tesla. Like a lot of people are now turning more bearish than they are bullish on Tesla. So that's three. We got three confluences. The fourth confluence that I'm seeing is this is actually a reversal candle on the daily. So when I see this candle, there is usually followed up by something that looks like this, right? So me personally, I like Tesla calls coming into this week. And long term, I obviously like Tesla calls, especially when we're getting into this huge demand that you're seeing right here. Okay, now for me to be bearish on it, it would really need to hold below, get like a monthly close below 155 or 154. But yeah, Tesla is good to me, sitting at the bottom of the trend. And to be honest, we have a move that could. Now the only thing about Tesla is that, inside of this bull market that we have right now, I was saying, and I could be wrong, I could be wrong that I was saying that we get to all-time highs. I was saying that back in, months ago. But now what I'm seeing is, in this bull market, Tesla would really need to, and the bull market would really need to extend, and Tesla would really need to start getting going if I think the time frame on what we have left is from, I don't see us going into Q4 bullish, but Tesla would either need to get started now, or the bull market would either need to be continued, because for it to get to 400, it would really need to get going right now in like V shape. So I was saying Tesla could get to all-time highs. I don't know. I think I had to change that. I don't think Tesla will see an all-time, may not see an all-time highs, and that maybe the highest we'll get is 316 or something like that, depending on where Tesla is, when we look back in June and July, which we will be live for. Like a lot of you guys know I'm live all the time. I'm live all the time. We do our research. We study this a whole lot. We've been looking at these charts. If you guys have been following along for 3 years straight. I've been trading for 8 years, but live streaming like 2-3 years straight. So when we're looking at this stuff, we kind of got an understanding of it. But yeah, that's what I'm thinking about for Tesla. Anyways, let's move on. Oh yeah, the next one was Riot. My boy Bert, what's up, Bert? Riot was the next one you guys want to look at, and Bitcoin miners in general. So when we look at Riot, make sure you know the same analysis it will be set for CLSK and Mara and BTBT. When we're looking at these Bitcoin miners, this is really the I can really just look at one and tell you what's going to happen. But when we look at Riot, you have to know that this lags. Okay, this usually lags Bitcoin. Okay, and also what you need to realize is that when this thing was $3 and it went all the way to $20, so you have to know how far a lot of these Bitcoin miners have come. So to look at it, just kind of consolidating at $11, like this thing was at $3, like not even too long ago. So keep that into perspective when you're looking at some of this stuff. Like, yeah, like you want it to go up, but you also got to realize this is a 500% move, on, in not that long of a time. So this consolidation makes sense when you think that this went up 500%, and yeah, it's just been kind of consolidating right here, but that next move up will be very, 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 very extended, kind of like what you saw right here, right? And I think Riot does get to all-time highs. Now, when is it going to go? I have no clue. Okay, so the best thing that you could do is, buy a lot of time on them, and and actually right here, this is a buying area for Riot anyway. So if I'm looking at Riot, and we actually got into Riot on Friday, and that was the zero to hero, and that ended up going very well. That went over 250%. So if you're not in the Discord, the link is in the bio. But we got into Riot calls on Friday, and it went crazy. But if I'm looking at Riot, I still think it has a lot more room in the tank. I mean, there's nothing to really look at it right here. This is a bounce level that it bounced from, back in October, back in February, and now it's sitting there right again, and even back in May where it had that big run. So to short it right here is absolutely crazy in my opinion. And I would definitely, if you're in the Discord, you already know what we're looking at. I would I would definitely be looking at calls or buying equity right here, because we know these Bitcoin miners are going to go a lot higher. It's just a fact of how many people are going to sell too soon, how many people are going to blink first, and sell what they have, or contracts expire, etc. So those are the things you got to keep in mind when you're looking at stuff like this. But if not, this is the perfect buying area is what I'm saying. Okay, this is the perfect buying area, and if it comes down to $8. The next opportunity that I'd be looking for if I don't get it right here would be that it comes down to $8. And the reason I'm saying $8 is that'll sweep everybody, get people to be non-believers, etc. And then you get that move higher. But I don't think Bitcoin miners are done by any means necessary. To be honest, you're just getting a bunch of consolidation in these huge cup and handles. Like you can really call this a cup and handle. You really can. So that's how I'm seeing Riot. I think Riot goes a lot higher. You just, your timing is going to be difficult, I would say, just because you do see it consolidating for so long. But, this thing is going to go. It's going to go. Just get positioned for it. Equity, obviously is the easiest one you could do, but, maybe some July, August call, something like that. Anyways, move on. What stocks we looking at? Let's look at China. I see a lot of people asking about some China stocks. You had Baba, you had PDD, and I saw someone even ask about Billy. So a lot of people want to look at China. Well, Neo, we're gonna look at China. And when we look at the Hang Seng Index, we're going to look at Baba. But when we look at the Hang Seng Index, you can kind of get a general idea of, what China's going to do overall. And to be honest, I think China has potentially, bottomed out right here. And it's been forming an uptrend for quite some time now. You're seeing this since January. All of this year, really. It's now formed an uptrend that you're seeing, transpire throughout where we are right now. So I'm liking China. I do think it needs to start holding above 1673 or 16,713, just because look what it's been doing on a weekly time frame when it comes to that 21 EMA. Now, I will tell you the good news about this right here is that you haven't seen it actually consolidate at this 21 EMA. You usually get, it comes right here, rejects a bunch, comes right here, rejects, comes right here, rejects. It doesn't really consolidate like you're seeing right here. So you could get a burst above very soon. I'm liking China. There's nothing telling me that China's bearish. And to be honest, this could just be a huge double bottom in general. So this isn't even where I would look to short China. I wouldn't even look to short China right here until it can get back below 15,600, and then you have a bigger problem. But yeah. And to be honest, when you look at China, it always has these 4-month periods. China always has these 4-month periods where it rallies a whole bunch, like in a 4-month time span. You had it happen right here. You had it happen in a bunch of other instances as well. So when you look at China, China, in my opinion, it's gonna happen in a swift, quickly way, swift and quick, and I think that's kind of what's happening right now. And I think China, you need to be paying attention to China, okay? You need to be paying attention to China. I think China is very important right now, especially, and that's why I think BABA. If you come over here and look at BABA, we got into Baidu cooked up. And if you look at Baba's sitting in a buying area. Now, this is just ugly price action, if we're being honest, but it's in an uptrend. It's in an uptrend. It's not making lower lows. You can even say this is in an inverse head and shoulders like you kind of have right here. But all this chop that you see, there's going to be either a huge move to the upside or China's done. We get some more consolidation to the downside, obviously, but I'm betting on it continue to go up. I like China. China to me is sitting great. It's sitting great. It's been down falling for 3-4 years. And I think right now when we look at the overall market, I think China looks good. And also PDD, like PDD is an obvious one that we've been talking about for some time now. This is one that, we were talking about when it was $60 and it's played out so much. We told you it was going to get to the top. It got to the top. And now what you're seeing with PDD is, potentially a reversal. It's sitting in a nice bull flag. So, yeah, PDD looks great. I think PDD goes a lot higher. Anyways. It does have earnings, though, yeah. It has earnings Wednesday, so, who knows? Who knows? It has earnings Wednesday. Somebody said SPY circuit breaker tomorrow. That's crazy. I said SPY. Let's look at all right, what stocks you guys want to look at? I see a lot of AMDs in here. Let's look at AMD. I can't get to every single one. There's too many things. There's too much things going on for me to get to every single stock ticker that you guys want to look at. But when we look at AMD, like this was sitting at literally the perfect. This thing came to the 618 and it bounced perfectly. Now what you have to pay attention to is to see what it does for the AI meeting like we know about that's happening this week. But right here is where you would definitely be looking to buy this. Now, if you missed the bounce opportunity on Friday where it went to 185, like that was literally the perfect opportunity to get into it. But if we're looking at it again, me personally, since it already kind of bounced right there, I'd be looking to catch another bounce, maybe around 187. But, it's bullish above 185. If you want to be bearish on AMD, wait for it to close below 185, and then you'll get some more downside. But right here is not where you particularly want to short it, just because it is in an uptrend. Like this thing's been uptrending with the S&P 500 and with the Qs for so long since the October bottom that you saw when it went to $94. And I actually remember right here so vividly because we were begging you to buy in October, and that's why you need to stick around for these live shows because we do. Like, this was literally around the time we were like, yes, please, like, come on. You don't think AMD's going to hire? Get some long-term contracts. And, you see what happened with AMD. But, this thing has been bouncing from that 21 EMA and holding above it. And so I'd be bearish on it if it starts holding below 185. Until then, let the trend be the trend and go from there. Yeah, exactly. There's an AI meeting. So that's something, that you got to particularly wary of. But also we have FOMC as well, so that's why I'm not trying to extend this live and make it too long. We're gonna look at some good stocks and um, see what we could potentially get into. But nothing is like nothing is set in stone. Let's look at PayPal. Let's look at PayPal. Yeah. This thing is. PayPal is actually one that I kind of like right now, just because it has been so strong when the market has been going down, but it's been consolidating for quite some time here. You really want to see this holding above like $64, but that's what I'm gonna put it like. This thing is choppy, bro. Choppy, but it does look like it's finally ready. You have so much divergence on a weekly time frame and a monthly time frame to where it's like, yeah, this thing more likely than not is gonna pop off. It's just gonna. Actually, I really like it when we're looking at a monthly on it. Look at what's been happening for these 3 months, and the reason I'm saying 64, 62, or $65, where it needs to start holding above, is where do you have all these wicks? You have all these wicks right here where it keeps rejecting and coming back down to that price. So you want to see it holding above $65, and then you're more likely than not get a retest. A retest around 76 or maybe even $91. I wouldn't be bearish here, that's for sure. There's no way I'd be bearish right here. Let's look at Dell. Man, what the? Yeah. All right. So, man, obviously you got that earning. Actually, to be honest, I really like Dell right here. The reason I'm saying that is because I've seen so many charts that look exactly like this, where you do get that gap up and then it cooks back down, and then you see that grind back upwards. I can show you SE. SE literally did that for earnings as well. It did it. It's just so happened to do it the same day where it did have that rebound, but it had that big upside move, and then all that move got erased, and then you just saw over the next couple of days it just kept going up, and that actually happened with DKS as well on that same day on that day as well, to where it did have that had that earnings gap up. This one was back here. Where was this one? This was this earnings. So for stocks that have those little earnings, now this one did happen. It had earnings, and then you had it completely erase all those earnings, but then just slowly grind upwards. Now, could Dell do that? I don't know, just because it didn't happen so quick. Like Dell had earnings March 1st and been grinding down for 15 days. So, I don't want to pay too much attention to that one, but that's something to keep in mind when you're looking at Dell. And it's at a bounce area regardless with a reversal candle. So, MSTR is cooked. We've been calling that one out since like 240. Sound. Let's look at sound. Yeah, this one's gone. This one's gone. It's definitely one to be bullish on. Definitely want to be bullish on, but you want to wait for some sort of, you don't want to get in on those pumps. You want to get in on one of those red candles. So that's what I'd be trying to pay attention to, trying to get in on one of those red candles. But one stock that I do want to look at, never mind. Yeah. Let's look at Nike. We already looked at Tesla. We looked at Tesla, and if you guys are in here at all, you can literally follow. Matter of fact, before we look at Nike, because I think Nike actually looks really good. Before we look at Nike, make sure you guys go to the link in the bio and follow the Twitter. Once we can get to 3,100, we'll move on. But all the stocks that we looked at, like Tesla and any stock that a lot of you guys are asking stocks that we've already looked at, you can literally go back to the YouTube and look at what we talked about, and they're also posted on the Twitter, like the best plays that we looked at on this live stream. So go to the link in the bio, follow the Twitter. Once we get to 3,100, we'll move on. PLTR, we got people want to look at PLTR. Earnings this week for Nike, yeah, god dang, man. The thing for Nike though, like I'm looking at it, and it looks so good. It looks so good, but it has earnings. That's something that you always got to be wary of. Now, if you got extra funds, that's what I recommend for people that want to play earnings. Like you gotta have had made money from the previous week or overall to then go out and play some earnings. You don't really want to play earnings if you're not really that profitable. Okay. Now, me personally, I might take some Nike or something, but I gotta look at all the earnings plays. Gotta look at all the earnings plays, but all right, we got 3,100. Let's move on. So for Nike, what you see is, and the setup that I've been paying so much attention to, and if you haven't been paying attention to the live stream right now, I want you to pay attention because this is something that we're gonna go over. That's very, very important. Matter of fact, it's like an educational moment, just from stuff that I've seen actually play out. So when you look at Nike, the first thing that you have to realize is that this didn't stop at support. It fell a little bit below support. Okay? And I'm telling you right now, this is where you would want to buy Nike. Right here. It fell a bit below support. I'm going to show you so many charts after this, but it fell a bit below support. So what we're possibly going to see now is now move to the upside. I mean, we're even getting a reversal candle on the 4-hour time frame, even an 8-hour time frame. This is a reversal candle that you'd love to see. Okay, so earnings could potentially be very bullish for something like Nike. Now, I'm not going to say that just because earnings is 50-50. You don't really know, but if we're just looking at the TA wise, this is something that I would play calls on. Okay, I'm gonna show you something that looks exactly like this that we played inside the Discord as well. Some of you guys remember TXN, and TXN looks absolutely amazing even right now. But if you guys remember, we played TXN. We literally got into TXN right here. Okay, let me see if I can. Yeah, the daily chart shows it much better, but you see, it fell a bit below the support. A bit below the support. We got into TXN calls over here, and then they went absolutely crazy. But TXN looks still very, very good. Right here, it's in a bull flag. It's going to 183. This is actually my top watch list. If you're inside the Discord, this is the one that I'm going to be posting and looking at the most this week is TXN. But I mean, you even look at that volume on the daily candle, which it closed at. It's been the highest volume that it's had, since over here. So TXN is definitely one that I'm paying attention to. But also Pepsi had this exact same setup. It's in that exact same setup right now. And this can happen on any time frame. So you have all the support right here. This one fell a bit below the support, so you would want to get in after it fell below the support right here, and then you potentially have a rocket to the upside. That's why Pepsi actually looks so good right now. Okay. So anyways, those are the few things that I'm looking at on this Sunday. I don't want to hold you guys up for too long tonight. We have FOMC. We have a bunch of news that's going to be happening over the course of this week. So that's what is potentially, that's what's not having me be live for too long tonight is, we got FOMC. We have Powell talking. We have the AI event. So all that stuff should be interesting. I want to wish you guys luck this week. I go live every single Sunday. And sometimes like on Tuesday or I'll mix it up over the weekdays, but you can always make sure that I'm going live on a Sunday, okay? And some Sundays are better than others, based off what we have going into next week or etc., just based off some of the setups that we have. But the main points that you need to get across is that the Qs is in a buying area. This this is where it should bounce at. So you shouldn't be looking for calls. I mean, for puts just yet. Until it can start closing below 432, and then you get a retest of 428, etc. But this isn't a buying area. FOMC, AI event. But yeah, thank you guys all for tuning in. This is a good live stream, man. I'm sorry we couldn't be live for longer, but anyways, you guys have a great rest of your night. I'm out. Peace.